The courtroom was tense, filled with murmurs as everyone waited for the hearing to begin. Among the attendees was Marcus Bennett, a decorated Navy SEAL, known not only for his bravery overseas but also for his calm and respectful demeanor. Officer Laura Mason, assigned to courtroom security, was having a difficult day. Stressed and on edge, she kept a close eye on Marcus, her suspicion fueled by nothing more than a misunderstanding of his confident presence. When Marcus approached the stand to give his testimony, Laura suddenly stepped forward and grabbed his arm roughly, accusing him of causing a disturbance. The room gasped. Marcus was stunned, he had done nothing wrong. Marcus gently pulled his arm free and faced Officer Mason with calm authority. "I'm here to testify peacefully." "There's no reason for this," he said firmly, his voice steady despite the shock. But Laura, overwhelmed by the pressure of the day and misreading Marcus's composure for defiance, escalated the situation. "You don't get to talk back to me in my courtroom," she snapped, her tone sharp and unyielding. Witnesses watched closely as tension filled the room. The judge quickly called for order, demanding an explanation from Laura. She accused Marcus of being disrespectful and disruptive, yet no one else had noticed any such behavior before the incident. Marcus remained composed but did not back down. "I've served my country with honor and respect. I'm simply here to tell the truth," he said, locking eyes with Laura. His presence and confidence spoke volumes. Suddenly, Laura's stance faltered. Realizing she had acted hastily, she took a step back. But instead of apologizing, she attempted to regain control by raising her voice louder. That's when Marcus decided it was time to stand his ground, not with aggression, but with dignity. "This is a courtroom, a place of justice. Let's act like it," he stated clearly, his tone unwavering. The judge nodded in agreement, signaling that decorum must be maintained by all. The courtroom's atmosphere shifted, whispers replaced gasps as respect for Marcus grew. The courtroom fell silent as Marcus took a slow, deliberate breath. Every eye was on him, sensing the weight of the moment. Officer Mason's initial aggression had surprised everyone, but now the balance was shifting. Laura's face tightened, her frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Yet Marcus's calm and poised demeanor seemed to disarm her. Instead of escalating further, he chose to address the situation with clear words and firm resolve. "I respect the role you serve, Officer Mason," Marcus began, his voice steady and respectful. "But it's important that respect is mutual. No one here should be subjected to unfair treatment or assumptions." The judge leaned forward, interested in Marcus's measured response. "Mr. Bennett," the judge said, "your service to the nation is commendable. But this courtroom must remain a place where everyone, officers, witnesses, and defendants alike, upholds respect and professionalism." Laura shifted uncomfortably in her seat, suddenly aware that her actions were under scrutiny. Her authority was not absolute, especially when it bordered on unjust treatment. Seeing this, Marcus continued, "I came here to participate in this process with integrity. I ask only that the same be extended to me." The courtroom murmured in approval. Even some of the officers present exchanged glances, recognizing the truth in his words. Officer Mason's expression softened slightly, though her pride made it difficult to admit fault. The judge called for a brief recess to allow tempers to cool and order to be restored. Outside the courtroom, Laura took a moment alone. She reflected on how her actions had escalated unnecessarily and how Marcus's composure had highlighted the error. When the hearing resumed, the tone had changed. The tension that once filled the room was replaced by a sense of respect and professionalism. Marcus's testimony went forward without interruption, his dignity intact. As the hearing progressed, the atmosphere in the courtroom transformed. What had started as a heated confrontation turned into a powerful example of mutual respect and professionalism overcoming misunderstanding. Marcus delivered his testimony clearly and confidently. His words carried the weight of experience and truth, resonating with everyone present. The judge listened intently, occasionally nodding in agreement. Officer Mason observed quietly, her earlier defensiveness replaced by a growing sense of humility. She realized that her initial judgment had been clouded by stress and assumptions rather than facts. After the testimony, the judge addressed the courtroom. This incident has reminded us all that the true strength of our justice system lies in fairness and respect. It is crucial that every individual, regardless of their role, upholds these principles. Turning to Officer Mason, the judge continued, "Officer Mason, I expect all court officers to maintain professionalism at all times. If tensions arise, they must be handled calmly and impartially." Laura nodded, visibly affected by the judge's words. She stepped forward and, with sincerity, approached Marcus. "I want to apologize for my actions earlier," she said, her voice steady but genuine. "You were right to stand your ground with dignity. I let my frustration get the better of me, and that's not acceptable." Marcus smiled warmly, extending his hand. "Thank you, Officer Mason. I appreciate your honesty. We all have moments to learn from." Their handshake symbolized more than just an apology, it represented a moment of growth and understanding, bridging a divide created by misjudgment and tension. As the courtroom emptied, several officers approached Marcus to offer quiet words of respect and gratitude for his composure. His conduct had set a standard for how challenges can be met without anger or disrespect. Outside the courthouse, Marcus reflected on the day's events. Despite the rough start, the experience reaffirmed his belief in integrity and the power of calm resolve. Officer Mason, too, walked away with a renewed commitment to fairness and professionalism, aware now more than ever that authority is most effective when wielded with respect and care. In the days that followed, word of the courtroom incident spread quietly but steadily among the local legal and law enforcement communities. Many were struck not by the conflict itself, but by the way Marcus Bennett handled the situation, with dignity, respect, and unwavering calm. Officer Mason found herself reflecting deeply on her behavior that day. Conversations with her supervisors led to her attending additional training focused on communication, conflict resolution, and maintaining professionalism under stress. She recognized that her role required more than authority, it demanded empathy and patience. Marcus, meanwhile, continued to serve as a respected figure in both military and civilian circles. His experience in the courtroom reinforced his commitment to advocate for fairness and justice, not just abroad but also at home. One afternoon, Marcus received a letter from the courthouse thanking him for his exemplary conduct. The letter praised his courage and composure, highlighting how his example had helped improve courtroom relations and foster a better understanding between officers and civilians. Motivated by the experience, Marcus began volunteering as a mentor, helping young veterans and civilians alike learn how to navigate difficult situations with respect and calm confidence. At the same time, Officer Mason sought to rebuild trust within her department. She reached out personally to Marcus, not only to express her gratitude for his patience but also to collaborate on initiatives aimed at improving communication and professionalism in court settings. Their partnership grew into a genuine friendship founded on mutual respect and a shared goal of creating a safer, fairer environment for all. The incident that once threatened to ignite division instead became a catalyst for growth, showing that even in moments of conflict, understanding and integrity can prevail. In the end, both Marcus and Laura learned valuable lessons. True strength lies not in exerting power, but in the ability to listen, reflect, and respond with dignity. Months passed since that intense day in the courtroom, but the impact of the incident lingered, transforming not only those directly involved but the broader community as well. Officer Laura Mason embraced her new role with a renewed sense of purpose. She actively participated in workshops and trainings, not only as a student but increasingly as a leader, sharing her experiences to help others avoid similar misunderstandings. Her efforts didn't go unnoticed. Colleagues began to see a change, not just in her attitude but in the culture within the courtroom security team. The once tense environment gradually shifted toward one of cooperation and mutual respect. Meanwhile, Marcus Bennett continued to balance his military commitments with his growing role as a community mentor. He frequently visited legal forums, speaking about his experiences and advocating for clear communication and respect among all parties involved in the justice system. Together, Marcus and Laura launched a community outreach program aimed at fostering positive interactions between law enforcement officers and civilians. Their goal was simple yet profound: to build bridges where walls had once stood. The program featured open dialogues, scenario-based trainings, and joint problem-solving sessions. It encouraged participants to share their perspectives honestly, cultivating empathy and understanding. One memorable event brought together veterans, court officers, lawyers, and community members in a series of workshops. Stories were shared, misconceptions addressed, and new connections formed. Laura often recalled the moment she first confronted Marcus, how quickly tensions escalated, and how his calm response changed everything. She used that story not to assign blame but as a lesson in humility and growth. Marcus, in turn, emphasized the importance of standing firm in one's principles without resorting to aggression. His example inspired many to reconsider how they approached conflict and communication. The ripple effects reached beyond their immediate circle. Other courts and law enforcement agencies began adopting similar programs, recognizing the benefits of building trust and respect. Through persistence and collaboration, Marcus and Laura helped create an environment where fairness and professionalism were not just expected but actively nurtured. Their partnership symbolized the power of transformation, showing how initial conflict, when met with understanding and integrity, can lead to meaningful change. As the months turned into a year, the changes initiated by Marcus Bennett and Officer Laura Mason continued to resonate within the courtroom and beyond. Their efforts sparked a broader conversation about how justice, respect, and professionalism intertwine in high-pressure environments. The community outreach program they co-founded expanded steadily, drawing attention from local leaders, legal professionals, and law enforcement agencies across the region. Their message, one of calm resolve, mutual respect, and constructive dialogue, found eager listeners. Marcus and Laura became frequent speakers at conferences and training seminars. They shared not only their story but practical strategies for conflict resolution, emphasizing emotional intelligence, communication skills, and accountability. Their work inspired many officers to reconsider how they approached their duties, shifting from a mindset of control and authority toward one of partnership and service. Judges reported fewer courtroom disruptions, and witness testimonies proceeded more smoothly as respect became the new norm. One notable success came when a local law enforcement agency invited Marcus and Laura to help design a training curriculum focusing on de-escalation techniques and cultural competency, not in the traditional sense of race, but in understanding the diverse backgrounds and experiences people bring into the courtroom. Meanwhile, Marcus's mentorship program flourished. Veterans and civilians alike praised his ability to guide them through challenging interactions with confidence and grace. His story of standing firm without aggression became a beacon for those navigating difficult situations. Officer Mason's journey was equally transformative. Her colleagues respected her honesty and growth, and she was soon promoted to a supervisory role, where she continued to champion the principles of fairness and professionalism. Reflecting on the journey, Marcus and Laura often spoke about the power of accountability, not just holding others responsible but also being willing to acknowledge one's own mistakes and learn from them. Their initial confrontation, which could have been remembered as a bitter conflict, instead became a defining moment of progress and healing. In private conversations, both agreed that the courtroom incident was a turning point, not just for their careers but for their lives. It reminded them that true leadership involves humility, patience, and the courage to change. The legacy they built together served as a reminder to all who heard their story: even in the most challenging moments, respect and integrity can pave the way for lasting positive change. The momentum created by Marcus Bennett and Officer Laura Mason did not fade. Instead, it blossomed into a lasting movement toward improved relations within the justice system. Their community outreach program, initially a small effort born from a single courtroom incident, became a model for similar initiatives nationwide. Agencies recognized that fostering respect and open communication reduced conflicts and increased cooperation among officers, legal professionals, and the public. One of the most profound outcomes was the development of a new training protocol for courtroom officers, which Laura helped design. The program emphasized emotional intelligence, stress management, and respectful engagement techniques, tools that transformed how security personnel interacted with everyone in the courtroom. Marcus's involvement brought invaluable insight from his military background, demonstrating how discipline and calm under pressure could be applied in civilian settings to de-escalate tense situations. The two partners often held joint workshops, sharing their story to illustrate the importance of perspective, patience, and accountability. Their personal experiences resonated deeply, encouraging participants to reflect on their own attitudes and behaviors. In one particularly memorable session, participants reenacted common courtroom scenarios, practicing techniques that emphasize de-escalation and mutual respect. The atmosphere shifted from confrontational to collaborative, as officers and civilians learned to understand each other better. Local media picked up their story, highlighting the positive changes in courtroom dynamics and praising Marcus and Laura for their leadership. Their example sparked discussions on how justice systems nationwide could adopt similar approaches to improve fairness and professionalism. Behind the scenes, Marcus and Laura worked tirelessly to ensure their programs were sustainable. They secured funding, built partnerships with community organizations, and trained new facilitators to continue their mission. The ripple effect extended beyond courtrooms. Police departments and community groups began embracing the principles of respectful engagement and communication championed by Marcus and Laura. For Marcus, the experience reaffirmed his belief that strength is measured not by force, but by restraint and integrity. For Laura, it was a journey from frustration to growth, a testament to the power of self-awareness and change. Together, they had turned a moment of conflict into a legacy of understanding, proving that even the most challenging encounters could become catalysts for positive transformation. The influence of Marcus Bennett and Officer Laura Mason's work extended far beyond the courtroom walls, reaching into the heart of the community and reshaping relationships between law enforcement and the public. Their joint initiatives inspired a series of town hall meetings where residents, officers, and legal professionals could openly discuss their experiences, concerns, and hopes for a more just and respectful system. These gatherings fostered dialogue that had previously been rare or difficult. Through these meetings, Marcus and Laura listened carefully to community members' stories and challenges. Their approach was rooted in empathy and a genuine desire to understand differing perspectives. The success of these efforts led to collaborations with local schools, where Marcus and Laura introduced programs teaching young people about conflict resolution, respect, and leadership. They believed that building these skills early could prevent misunderstandings before they started. Laura, once seen by some as a rigid enforcer, now became a trusted mentor to younger officers. She shared her journey openly, encouraging others to embrace accountability and growth. Marcus's role as a mentor also expanded, guiding veterans transitioning to civilian life and helping them navigate complex social interactions with the same calm and dignity he had demonstrated in court. The community began to notice a tangible shift. Reports of courtroom disturbances decreased, and mutual respect between officers and civilians strengthened. This change fostered a safer, more collaborative environment for justice to be served. Local officials took note, praising the program as a model of effective community policing and justice reform. Funding increased, allowing Marcus and Laura to expand their reach and develop new training materials. One highlight was the launch of an annual symposium focused on professionalism and respect in the justice system, attracting experts and leaders from across the country. Throughout these developments, Marcus and Laura remained humble, always emphasizing that their work was about listening, learning, and growing together. Their story became a testament to the power of change, showing that even moments of conflict could lead to healing and progress when met with integrity and openness. As they looked toward the future, both understood that their journey was ongoing. But with every step, they were building a legacy of respect and understanding that would inspire generations to come. The story of Marcus Bennett and Officer Laura Mason reached a turning point, marking the beginning of a new chapter not only for themselves but for the entire community they served. Their collaboration had evolved into a movement, one rooted in respect, professionalism, and open dialogue. The programs they pioneered were now embedded in courtrooms and law enforcement agencies across multiple states. Marcus often reflected on how a single moment of tension had transformed into a powerful opportunity for growth. His calm response in the courtroom had set a tone that inspired change on a much larger scale. Laura's transformation was equally profound. From a day filled with stress and misunderstanding, she had grown into a leader recognized for her commitment to fairness and empathy. Her willingness to admit fault and learn became a shining example to her peers. Together, they worked to ensure their initiatives would continue long after they stepped back. They trained facilitators, secured ongoing funding, and partnered with organizations dedicated to justice reform and community engagement. Their annual symposium grew into a major event, bringing together voices from across the country to share ideas, strategies, and success stories. It became a beacon of hope for communities striving to improve relations between law enforcement and civilians. Beyond professional accomplishments, Marcus and Laura formed a deep friendship grounded in mutual respect and shared purpose. Their journey showed that collaboration and understanding could overcome even the most difficult challenges. In personal conversations, they often spoke about the importance of humility and accountability, qualities that had transformed a conflict into a catalyst for change. Their legacy was clear: respect and integrity are the foundation of justice, and when embraced by all, they create safer, stronger communities. As new challenges arose, Marcus and Laura remained committed to their mission, knowing that progress is a continuous journey, fueled by courage, compassion, and the willingness to grow. Their story stood as a powerful reminder that even in moments of conflict, the choice to respond with dignity can inspire lasting transformation. The courtroom incident that once threatened to divide grew into a powerful example of how understanding and respect can change lives and institutions. Marcus Bennett and Officer Laura Mason had transformed from adversaries to partners, showing that the way forward is not through confrontation, but through dialogue and humility. Their shared journey inspired countless others to reflect on their own actions and attitudes. It proved that mistakes do not define us, but how we respond to them shapes our character and future. Together, they left behind a legacy that stretched far beyond a single courtroom, a legacy of dignity, professionalism, and mutual respect. The community they touched became a safer, more compassionate place, where justice was not just about rules, but about honoring the humanity in everyone. As Marcus and Laura looked toward the future, they knew their work was never truly done. But with every conversation, every workshop, every step forward, they continued to build a world where fairness and respect were the norm, not the exception. Their story remains a beacon, a reminder that change is possible when we choose empathy over anger, understanding over judgment, and unity over division. And in that choice, a new beginning is born.